I have come down.
Powerful gods are all around us. From the heavens, Zeus vanquishes threats to his dominion. Once, the god monster Typhon smothered the earth, choking everything on it. But the earth belonged to Zeus, and he would not brook Typhon's rebellion for long. So with all his might, Zeus launched a ferocious attack. And when the battle was over, an inferno remained. The fire quickly spread, reducing everything in its path to embers, leaving the land barren and lifeless in its wake. What could possibly contain this immortal fire? Finding his answer, Zeus trapped the flames under a mountain, preventing them from consuming the world. The blaze burns to this day, venting its smoldering anger. On the ashes of this molten fire, our mighty city was built. Now Zeus's children, Athena, Apollo, Ares, and their brethren fight battles of their own, and we are caught in the crossfire. But one god reigns supreme, wielding his power over gods and mortals alike.
Okay, on the intro here, I gotta tell you guys the most important thing about the LP, Diogenes' barrel. So Diogenes, I'm now realizing, is a huge figure. All right, this guy's like one of the founders of cynicism, and he was kind of controversial. Like, he debased currency and stuff. He got kicked out of cities and towns. And so the whole idea of his barrel is that I won't give you the whole history of Diogenes. His wiki page is huge. But the thing with the barrel, and sometimes they call it a tub, is he moved into some place, but he didn't have anywhere to live. And, you know, the cynic has nowhere to live. So for a while, he lived in a barrel. That's the story. It's apocryphal. Who knows if it's real or whatever. And so here's some very famous art, very famous painting of it. I don't know if you guys ever tour an art museum and you see this, and I know you understand Diogenes' barrel. I think dogs were a big part of his life as well. There's lots of images of him with dogs. So when these homeless guys are talking about Diogenes' barrel, they don't even have his barrel. Yeah, it's because this guy was famously homeless and lived in a barrel for a little while. The original cynic. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm here with a cup of coffee and a glass of water. And we are ready to... Christ, it's been a long time. How do I do this? It's been a while since I've done this. Welcome to the final episode of Let's Play Zeus, Master of Olympus. No, seriously, this is the first final episode of an LP that I've known as the final episode that I've done in years. There's been like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 different projects have all ended at various states. But here we are. So I thought, by the way, this is the actual main menu of Zeus Gold, the you know, the Steam edition, the GOG edition. You get a big button on the top left that says Play Zeus, and you get a big button on the top right that says Play Poseidon. This thing here that says the Poseidon Adventures Editor is actually just the Zeus editor, but updated after the expansion released. The Activision website, which I don't know, does that break? I guess in editing, I'll tell you. I don't even know where that takes us now. Yeah, as far as I can make out, it's completely broken. Like, you click it and it plays the click UI noise and the button lights up, but nothing happens. You could click it 1,000 times, you click, 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 and nothing goes on. I don't know whether that's because the URL it's trying to point to is gone, or because it's actually looking for, you know, Windows XP's, or even earlier than that, I guess, like Internet Explorer, and it can't find that because I'm using Chrome or Edge or whatever you might have on your PC. It's just defunct. Anyway, so let's head to Zeus, and then you hit proceed for potato first, and then we're on this menu, which is where I start a lot of stuff. So if you watch the recent bonus videos, I covered Open Play Economic, Open Play Military, and Open Play Sandbox sequels. That leaves nothing now but for us to return to the Odyssey And what I'm going to do is I'll cut you in to the last time I was there, which, if you skip the bonus videos, was just a second ago, but for me, it actually feels like ages ago all of a sudden, where we have that last little bit of dialogue from Penelope. So let's see what she had to say at the start of this final mission. Oh, I'm feeling a little somber about the fact we're getting right near the end now.
My dear cousin, my excitement is growing. My son Telemachus has sent word that his father had been kept captive by the nymph Calypso, and that Zeus finally ordered her to let my husband go. The nerve of that nymph! Why can't she find her own man? I want to thank Zeus for his help in releasing Odysseus from his bonds. Please see to it that Zeus's stronghold graces our city so that the master of Olympus knows how grateful I am. I have fabulous news indeed. As I was writing,
it's the name of the game.
An urgent message from Alcinous of Corcyra, with the tidings for which we have all been waiting. Odysseus has been found on the island, and Alcinous is seeing to it that my husband is finally returned to me. He even offered to blindfold and bind my husband lest his wandering ways get the best of him again. Let's quickly finish the preparations for his return, but let's not be naive about the coming dangers. All of the gods and monsters that Odysseus has angered on his long voyage are bound to follow him home, and the lollygaggers are likely to become quite destructive when they find out that my husband is alive. Antinous of Same and Eurymachus of Olympus have already left in a huff, vowing to destroy Ithaca if they cannot call the city their own. Our happiness must be tempered with caution. We cannot rejoice until we can safeguard Ithaca from all threats, both natural and supernatural. Yours, Penelope.
Oh, wow. So there's one big final last mission. By the way, that's really weird, the way that the font ended up looking on Naive here. So let's see what happens here with the final story step, where unfortunately we have to rule Same and Arenanet. Oh, I like those guys. Oh, perfect. Look, I actually gave myself a reasonable save file name here. It lagged so much trying to open these up here. Look at all of these save files. Oh no, Volcano, it rhymes. Olympia Mega Palace. Out of depth now, please. All in, partly in caps at least. Pergamum ending forgot to save. Postponed in 2 separate words. Jesus Christ. Oh my lord. You know, I never usually do saves like this throughout a game. This is satisfying. Which town even is that? Tyrins has elites. Very scary. Una attack. I like this one, which I've totally forgotten the context of. Whoops, fish. Oh my lord. Zeus, question mark. Speaking of Zeus, so yeah, we, it's nice to browse, isn't it? A snake. This was actually a really good one, obviously. Yeah, speaking of Zeus, so he's one of our objectives here. We are going to end it with the guy's namesake. He's the name on the box, everybody. He's who was at the start of the game, of course. So we'll build a sanctuary. If I remember rightly, last time we were here, we did earmark the idea of putting one down here. Problem is, there's not actually really much space, is there? So if we delete the columns, but then our pretty storage row kind of gets ruined. So there's a question, can we shift all the storage up? Maybe we swap those decks? I definitely don't want to move this one. And the marble, to be honest, I don't want to move really either. These are double marble decks. So if we want to move these to place Zeus down, we're going to have to do it quick before they fill up. But hold on, there's boulders and things there as well. So he won't fit there regardless. Ugh. What have I done? I've left myself a horrible, terrible scenario here where I have no way to actually put Zeus down. Oh, and our destroyed pier. Hold on, do we have a new pier at this point? We have a pier to Same. Did they reopen their trade? Was this a pier to Same before? Did somebody else break? Let's see what we have here. Christ, this is actually kind of scary coming back to a city after a while. Because I don't really remember. Yeah, oh no, these were the guys that were selling us fish the whole time. Nice. I don't remember, like, how our debt is and everything. We've got 39,000 drachma, 4k people, 500 workers needed, food for 4k people, and 2k moving in. Well, that's not good. We probably do need to be buying fish then. We have more than enough money to do that. We got to be buying that fish. Ugh, I'm going to have to cut, guys. Because I think, wasn't the idea originally that Zeus was going to be here? But now we have triremes. Oh, yeah. And I said maybe we can rip them up. Ugh, we would have to move the storage bays. We would have to move the triremes. I could do it like this. Yeah, alright, we're going to have to just move these storage bays. So we're going to lose that bit of marble, and there's nothing for it. You know, it's just like ripping off a plaster. We got to do this quick. So if we do it this way, we don't need to get rid of the wharfs. Okay, so like, oh no, did I just get rid of a load of sculpture as well at the same time? I wasn't even looking. Is that what I did? Oh my god, why is that guy moving around with armor out there? Oh, he's taking it to his trireme, I see. Because they're actually still building that last one there. Well, you guys can deal with that in a second. Oh no, hold on, there's a rock there anyway. The rock is still in the way. So to get around the rock, we have to be here. So we cut off the triremes unless... Yes! Water crossing right there. Oh my god. You know, these giant temples, they are weird, aren't they? Oh, well, here we go. Cyclops attack. So, oh great, Potatoes. The Cyclops, that one-eyed beast, has set foot on our soil. What will become of our fair city? Ugh, god, he's in the housing district. Okay, one thing at a time here. Okay, so let's grab this. Let's drop Zeus in. When we have the marble, I guess, actually. Wait, do we don't have the marble, right? We have 16. Apparently, I do still have a marble base somewhere. So what were those bays? I probably should have checked before deleting them, shouldn't I? We'll have to put a couple down here. So, well, we could put 3 down, actually. We can say 1, or if we shift it over ever so slightly more. I was going to maybe see if we can use the watch post technique for this Cyclops, but I don't think it's really going to be possible. Look at this, guys. Do you remember when we were at original Ithaca? What did I say in the commentary? I said... Enjoy the when Apollo got sniped by the Cyclops. I said, enjoy this, guys, because you're probably not going to see very much of him. And then the enhancement pack comes around, and he's everywhere. He's all over the place. Possibly wood was the last one. Also, that's still not technically on the path there. So what do we do? Like this, and then we do this like so. Okay, so the Cyclops. Oh, God. Ew, that's really bad. I bet our hero wants Zeus. Oh, it's Odysseus. Of course it's Odysseus. Welcome. The namesake of this adventure. Sorry, we've just been playing around with Theseus. We got a little bit of area back there. This is kind of a fun place for a hero's hall, right? And not too far from where the Cyclops is. So when he gets to the hall, he'll actually move over there and deal with it. Not going to be doing any cheats or tricks. So we just need 32 jugs of olive oil. Nice, that's not too bad. So I have some fun trivia for you guys here in this episode. One of them is to do with the monsters. Another thing's actually to do with the cheats. I guess I'll do the cheats one now. So here in the final episode, I did want to talk about cheats one last time. I've got 2 kind of things for you. First is one final cheat, sort of. Except not really. So we've actually seen all of the cheats. You know, they've got a couple of cosmetic ones in there, bovine and arrows, cheese puff. They've got a couple of real ones, ambrosia, deli and treasury. Well, there is another one, and you know, some of these cheats, I kind of get a vibe like they're there for playtesters in a way. Well, here's another like one that's very much on the technical thing. It's a bit of an enigma, really, and a bit of a mystery, and not in the fun way that's like, ooh, what this could be really interesting to dig into. Just kind of in a weird techie way. There's a cheat called sound frags. This is really weird, because this stands out very, very, very seriously and easily in my mind. I think I looked at this when I was younger, and I think I tried to use it when I was younger. That word frag. Frag was everywhere with games around this era. I remember growing up, you know. What I mostly know fragging as now is, like, killing people in FPSs. But anyway, so sound frags, why it has this name, I don't know. I've Googled the term. I've Googled it in the context of Zeus. So basically, this is, like, a tech thing to do with the sound engine. So on Heaven Games, a guy has a quote about it, and he says, here's what they repeat. They say, it is a small trick to improve sound performance. So we don't need any tricks to improve regular performance, let alone sound performance. It's like I said earlier in the Let's Play, you know, you got to remember people had dedicated sound cards and stuff back then. So this is the most pointless thing ever. Like I say, not that good, not that interesting, but here it is. And not only is it really boring, but when you press enter to enter it in, it doesn't do anything on its own. What you have to do is go to the installation directory, open the Zeus INI, which has got like some options and some things for you, and you go to like the CPU line and change. You add sound frags equals 48 or whatever. Then when you come in game, you can enter this cheat and it will increment it from 48 up by 16 every time you press enter, all the way up to a whopping 96 for improved sound performance. Thanks, Orion. That's what they have to say. That's what Orion explained about this cheat. So, I mean, like I say, a bit obscure, but in all the most boring ways, in all the ways that we really couldn't care less. You know what? We could have maybe put the heroes, we could have extended the path here. Oh, pressing escape to get out of that doesn't do anything. right here, and we could have put the Pit Heroes Hall here. It's interesting to think a monster might destroy it. So anyway, there you go. That's the last cheat. And again, like, it's got this vibe to me of like, oh, what they're actually... This is really just for playtesters and stuff, maybe. And we haven't really had any problems with the sound, have we, guys? We've heard a lot of noises, but that's been lots of fun and exactly what we've wanted, right? So, I mean, we did actually have a crash, if you watched the most recent bonus video. And was it related to the Cyclops as well? No, it was the Minotaur. The Minotaur crashed us in the previous episode. So that's pretty much it for cheats. You know, there are no new ones. The other weird bit of trivia I have for you, though, is Fireballs from Heaven again. So I've had this notepad, right, with all these like little pieces of detail that I wanted to include in the LP, and I've worked my way through the whole list. I've shown everything off. There's like some tiny little things here, right? And the last thing I have to tell you about cheats, really, to mark this one off the list, is, you know, the Fireballs from Heaven thing? I said there's a bunch of different things you can do with it. Well, if you, oh god, how do we get rid of this? I guess just press enter with nothing there and it's fine. Yeah, it didn't say cheats enabled either that time. If you cast a Fireball from Heaven on a monster to kill it, then it will. If you accidentally hit a hero, though, like, say we summon Odysseus, he's on the way to the Cyclops, we forget he's on the way, we throw a fireball, I don't know. Or if you're just a masochist and a bastard, and you throw a fireball from heaven at a hero, it will kill the hero, and they will never, ever, ever come back. They'll just be gone forever. So there is kind of a permanent way to kill off heroes, even once you've established their hall and all this stuff, and that's by throwing fireballs from heaven at them. So, yeah, I guess we just let him rampage too. Sorry, I've had it on pause in game for a while here because I don't want to watch this. I don't want to see this chaos here. This is brutal. But I feel like we don't really have any other choice here. Now, then there's the question of olive oil. Now, are we exporting olive oil? Did we decide to start doing that? We did. We are exporting to both Corsaira and Pylos. Ah, that's why. Oh, I remember all of this, yeah. So instead of cancelling the exportation, which is probably why we have some money. Yeah, and we were watching this bay overfill, and then we were watching it get over there. Actually, I will cancel the exportation because this looks dodgy. I think everyone's about to devolve. So let's stop that one, and then let's find our other pier here. Well, that's cost. Oh, okay, yeah, both of them there. So that. So we'll build up some olive oil so that we can get the hero's hall. Now, I have seen a screenshot. Oh, where did the Cyclops go? Oh my god, where did he go? Is he in the town? He's not crashing. He's not destroying things if he is actually in the town. What did he break there? A maintenance office? That's horrifying. We would have to actually destroy it. Did he just leave? I mean, the combat music stopped and everything, but we know that that has nothing to do with anything else. What was this? A gazebo? Yeah, you can smash pretty things. I don't really mind that. That won't ruin the functionality. By the way, do you like how that we broke these paths? But because they're maintenance, they're still fine. And of course, they are on the labor pool. There you go. Look, and these guys are... I think they're still just moving from when the road was there. Oh my god, he's amongst the elites.
Getting hurt is not what I bargained for. I'm skedaddling.
I'm skedaddling.
Run! Run faster! Faster!
So we're going to get the olive oil and probably summon... Yeah, like we can summon Odysseus now. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. He's coming slowly. I mean, I'm sure he's entering the island from the longest, slowest possible way. I want to see him at least come across this bridge. Oh, God. What if he doesn't arrive or something? Suddenly horrified to think there might be some kind of bug. And, well, it wouldn't be the Zeus series, would it, without some kind of, like, mindless smashing and destruction. And, yeah, go on, destroy an entire elite house. Why not? I actually noticed that in the bonus episodes that they will do that. He at least avoided the, Oh my god, I mean, right, no, this is just, oh, not the whole Agora! Sorry, no, the infirmary. Oh, plus the infirmary. Where are you, Odysseus? Come home! Oh, yeah.
Odysseus, king of Ithaca, is here.
Alright, Same respect us. Great, so he's here now. Yeah, this is kind of a big moment, I suppose, right? Because what is this? This is Odysseus coming home. Finally. Finally, he's here! This is pretty funny. The guy who posted a bunch of amazing cities that he built as he played through the game on Reddit had this buried in his Imgur album. If you right-click Odysseus here in this final mission, even though he's supposedly home, he's still saying, Penelope will have to wait a long time before she sees me again. He still won't go see her. Obviously, this is just repurposed dialogue that you'd find in any town, but that's hilarious. After the entire playthrough messing around and what, I don't even know if I should rebuild this stuff because he's still... This is the worst thing. This is like the Medusa in Open Play Military 2. except a million times worse. The Medusa at least stayed outside of the housing block. This guy is getting full on in there. Ugh, I should have surrounded his... Well, see, if you surround the place with walls right when they enter the map, they actually just bug, I think, and then they don't appear. You can only do the wall trick once they're walking in. And in fact, you know what's really funny? You know how tight and amazing our housing blocks are, right, guys? They've got so few entrances from Greece. What's kind of funny is maybe I could just seal off 1 or 2 tiny little spots here, and it would cut the whole thing off from Greece, technically act as the wall he needs to teleport. He'd teleport inside, attack the Cyclops, and then we could open it up again before everyone decays. Now, that would be a hell of a strategy that I don't want to put to the test. Oh, no, not to these elites. No, please. No, not to these elites. By the way, is he... Yeah, it says slay the Cyclops, not slain. Another one will attack us. Yeah, cool. Destroy a whole grand Agora. A regular Agora wasn't enough. Agoras aren't only the most annoying thing to see get destroyed throughout this game. See, the game knows. The game knows that we're near the end now, so it's saying, you know what? You are just... You're going to get the full... the full experience right here. Yeah, kill all the guys, delivering the precious food. The food we need to not all devolve and have a massive emigration wave that will cause everybody to leave. Ugh, my temptation to throw all those rabble on him is so high right now. Like, look at him, he's in there. If we put all the flags on him, is he in the palace? No, that's Athena. Oh, here's Odysseus. Hello. Took your time. Wait. Oh, he killed the Cyclops. All right, maybe you didn't take your time. It looks like you didn't even go to the hall first, unless I missed you. All right, that must have been in the footage. I was bouncing around with different things. Thank you. Okay, cool. So one final Agora destruction here there. Let's replace our gazebo now. I don't know whether these guys actually needed this for their appeal. Hopefully they didn't. But there we have it. These two weren't houses anyway. And then it's a matter of stockpiling the marble, which should be coming in somewhere, some ways. I don't know where exactly. This is quite ugly, isn't it, what I've just left here, half of a thing. Oh, this is kind of nice. We're back on the other side of the roadblock again now, which is pretty decent. There you go. You guys want to go out on patrol? Or should we send the crew home, actually? I'm going to send the crew home because we do have this weird little bit of unemployment we still don't have. And we're paying very high wages, but we could probably clean that up a bit. Now, I believe there is a bit of warmongering here as well. Yeah, look at this. This is so sad. Rule Same. Rule Arenanet. Hold on. Didn't we just open up here to Same? They're a rival. Oh, they've just become a rival. Okay. Yeah, I like those guys so much. I like both of those so much. They've been so nice to us throughout this campaign. And then this final mission comes along and says, conquer the bastards. I mean, that's so sad. Ascania sitting over there as well with a hell of a lot of shields. Ascania's so weird the way they treat him in it. Same has a shit ton of shields as well. So does Arenanet. Oh my god, and we're on Olympian, so this might be quite tricky. So we definitely do want our elites to rearm quickly, and they should here. The figure of 8 is a nice, quick route. This here as well is nice and quick. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. They don't have dedicated armor bays. This is a wheat bay. Why do we have a wheat bay here when there's no horse ranches nearby?
My advice to you is marry. If you find a good wife,
my advice to you is to come down from Mount Olympus. Hold on. Where are any of our horse ranches? Am I blind? Oh, yeah, they're in the fortress. I remember. That's why we have a wheat bay there. Oh, there's a nice little thing here where these guys come out of the fortress to get the wheat to go back in. Oh, I do like this place. This is what it should all be about, you know. You end up playing enough of this game, and I mean, like, way, way, way too much of this game. You should do different fortresses. Each time has a different, like, service. So this is our horse fortress. You know, you could later have maybe an infirmary fort. Well, no, you can't have any kind of walker, but there are different things you could put in there. You know, you could have a foundry fortress.
And I will bring you more joy than any other.
Yeah, hello, Zeus. Oh, it occurs to me I could pray to Athena to get a bunch of olive oil in again as well. Maybe we should start selling again, but money is still going up. And workers are coming in, and this is all good. You'll have to excuse me if I'm playing a little bit slow here, guys. So take a sip of my coffee. It's so that I don't wave my arms around and spill drink everywhere. No, it's because, you know, just watching the cities brings me great joy, and we're not going to have too much more opportunity for this as time goes forward. Ruling Same, I think we should do first, because this food issue is kind of worrying. Well, no, now it says we have enough for 7,000 people, so maybe it was just a slight hiccup in the middle. Maybe the problem was that we didn't quite have enough unemployment sorted. We're at 0 workers needed now, so we're kind of at an amazing balance. So that's good. Marble is only at 16. Now, is marble available for importation? It is. I'm going to buy some marble there. I'm going to buy some wood as well. They'll only sell us 12 per year, but it gets us started. Egypt would sell us marble as well, but they are no longer around. I think we can technically still get it from Thrinacia, because that is Egyptian marble that they're selling on there. You know, they're like shops. The game should up the price ever so slightly whenever that happens. You know, it's like if we go to Egypt, we're getting it wholesale. We can get a lot more of it and a little bit cheaper. If we go to Thrinacia, you know, they've got a little fee on the fact that they've been storing it and they've moved it some of the distance in the meantime. What was the other goal? I mean, that's it really. It's just rule these guys and a sanctuary to Zeus. So I guess if you guys are all well evolved here, they're not fully evolved, are they? What's your problem? Appeal? Yours is culture. Yeah, these guys might not... Well, they should though, right? Because we have a gym... Where's their internal gym? It's here on this corner. Right, and the exit to the block is there. So this is actually a bad place for their gym. But what we really want is a gym on... We want a gym on all 4 corners, really. Unless maybe I have some kind of back road or something. But then this had a bunch of rocks, so removing this monument for a gym there would be kind of brutal. Also, we need the maintenance there anyway. Oh, this is tough. We could stop taxing them. We could do the same thing we did before, and I think I will. Money is a little tight, but if we at least stop taxing them, what we can do... We could have the maintenance in that corner, gym in this corner, and what that would mean, hopefully... Well, the gym, they're only ever going to go up this route, which means these guys will never get horses. It's kind of a tricky design, isn't it? But I think that's okay, though. So, maintenance there. Rip you out. Oh, and a whole monument. Brutal. Nasty stuff. Hopefully they don't devolve too much in the meantime. New bonus gym there. There could be a monument in the back. Do we have... Oh, look at this. We got loads. Ah, look, we have our heroic figure monuments as well again. Nice. I guess that's from Kid of the Cyclops a second ago. Okay, good. Maybe it's something about how a bunch of the monsters, you know, why that monument's so rare in this game are at colonies. Very rarely at parents, maybe. I don't know, that seems just so wrong, though. I don't think that's right. Anyway, so that should help a bit, but that doesn't change the fact that a lot of these guys still want appeal. So what I'll do is I'm going to be super cavalier about this. Let's say heroic figure monument there, with athlete there, just to inspire these guys to evolve as much as possible. So there you go, look, you can see people are evolving straight away. But these guys are going to need their last gym. Well, not gym, sorry. What they need is the competitor to walk past them on the way to the stadium. Why have you guys devolved? You need food. Yeah, okay, and who was that just was invading us? Do you notice how I just brushed that off like I really don't care? Okay, Same launched an invasion. So, when we kick them out here in a second, I think what's going to happen is... Oh, and this will be really cool. We'll have a bit of Navy combat. Oh, yeah! When we kick them out, I think they might lose a shield based on that. Maybe. I don't know. We might have to wait for an economic decline message of some kind as well. But that'll be quite handy. 24 marble, so we're doing all right. This little bit of pillar here needs repairing. So I hope you guys are all enjoying yourselves. I'll say it one final time. I don't know. I mean, these episodes have been going for a while now. You know, I hope life's been good to you as the series has been going along. Had some fun things going on these past few months. And there we go, 1 month. So if I put my flags... So we could fight with horsemen on the defensive as well, which is not something we've seen very much of. The thing is, I don't know where they're going to land. So we could save scum it. Ithaca, horse, defense. Because nearly always when I'm getting invaded, I'm counter-invading just to keep your head above the water, which you kind of have to do. But okay, so let's call this crew. And call this crew. So the other thing that's going on with this is... Here we go, let's fight to defend the sea. There's the defend location button. And I've always been kind of curious what that actually does. Because if we just say attack all enemies, look, they're off already. They're kind of defending the city anyway. You don't need them to defend a specific place, do you? Attack all enemies. Go, guys, go. Right, where are they landing? They're all sailing off in this direction. I'm assuming it's a navy that's coming at us. Well, hold on. If we click go to site of event... Whoa, this is far out there. Oh my god, look, there's some fish we're not getting. Oh, we got to set that up. My god, look how far away they are. I didn't even know they existed. We're gonna employ a whole maintenance post just for this one thing. But I really like the idea, so let's do it. Now, where are they landing? Because I don't see them. And what I'm gonna do is just have an early roadblock for this guy. All right, there you go. They've landed somewhere. Oh, it was nowhere near where it said go to site of event. Oh, but our triremes are getting in there. Nice. Okay, so horsemen. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go to the military tab. Oh, really? Oh, that's not defeated, though. Look, they're here. Look, they sent three guys. That's it. Oh, my God, Athena's killing them. I was going to have horses race across the whole map.
And I will bring you more joy than any other god.
Do you know what I like? I like that they landed right next to their own pier. Like, they're mad. Like, I put them down so often. What, you call us market competitors? We will deal with you, you know, and they're just pissed about that one pier. Okay, well, that was the biggest anticlimax. That's quite fitting for the game, though. What I was going to do is get all of our horsemen and rush them all out. That might be an invasion spot regardless, so I'm now going to station some cavalry in the middle of this, what was once a trading area, but now feels quite fitting. Okay, thank you, triremes. And look at that. That only cost us 300 employment. We probably would have spent all that and more if we'd done that purely with rabble. Also, Odysseus, I never made your house pretty. I'm not sure I should, to be honest, because you seem like a bit of a see you next Tuesday throughout this series. But, you know, there you go. There's some pillars. That's all these people have ever wanted, right? Just some pillars. It would be so cool if there was mid-mission dialogue. We could hear what Penelope thinks about all this. You know, Athena's been a very, very nice figure throughout this storyline here. 28 marble. Come on, we need more marble. We, hold on, to be clear, we only import marble here, right? We don't have our own quarry. All we can do is import the stuff. For as long as I see, and these guys sell us a good amount, 24. For as long as I can see that our money's okay, I'm just going to keep, buying it in. Oh yeah, now did they lose a shield? No, but maybe their cooldown is such now that I won't get counterattacked when I send my forces out of them. So let's raid and let's plunder. We could plunder some fish, which I actually do want to do. Let's send our triremes. If we get counterattacked in the meantime, we'll save a couple of horses for that. Not because I need them, but purely because I want to see them fight. Let's send Odysseus out with them as well. You know, we have Athena defending us. I'm sure we're fine. Seriously. So we will go plunder fish. That will hopefully fill up these granaries a bit more because that's really what we need. Take a shield away. I might do like 1 or 2 plunder operations actually. You know what's kind of funny to think? What if I sent the wharf workers home now to reclaim the employment now that I've sent the triremes out? Maybe that's why they give you the control, not on the building itself once the boat is built, but on the boat. Because they don't want you cheesing it. But, you know, if I really wanted to cheese that anyway, impressions, I still could. I could just break this thing now. In fact, couldn't I shut the industry down? There is no trireme button. I could shift people out of military jobs. You know, take the priority away from it. Since the triremes are gone, the wharfs aren't doing anything. Also, by the way, I just sent some horsemen away, but not others. And I think we got lucky. No, we didn't. The banner that I did for the horses... So these are forces abroad. These are forces standing down. Here we go. So let's grab these guys. And let's put them up here. I was going to say, I think we got lucky. And it was none of the ones that I had mustered to this that I ended up sending away. But I did. Because the flag is gone. And we have to replace it. Okay, so with those shipments of marble in, we now have 60. And we can place Zeus. So here we go, good sir. It is good to have you in my town. Again. There you have it. Actually, let's rotate him twice. Let's double rotate him so he faces into the city. See, there's something about an undo on a sanctuary that I find especially interesting. When you do a double undo on a sanctuary, let's say the storage bay that was hosting the marble fills up. Now what? What exactly does that mean then? Does the undo go away? Is that why sometimes you can't undo? Maybe it might be, actually. It might be. So what do we do to make Zeus comfortable and happy and make him look good? This road kind of has to be here, I'm afraid. However, if we pull this in... Yeah, like here, we've just unemployed that wharf, even though we're technically getting value out of the trireme. If we do this, we could avenue to fill the gap so that we can actually reach across to the trireme like that. And now it should be able to get employment again. And just for even sake, I guess I'll do that there. I don't want Zeus spawning on this path and then being stuck there with absolutely nothing to do. You can't even bless a trireme, so I'm going to do this. Fish plundered, thank you, nice, 16 baskets. That means that they're home again already as well, by the way. Did we take a shield? No, but we can immediately send the horses back. Ugh, the thing is though, again, I might... Oh, these guys are leaky. I don't want to do... Hold on, let's wait for the triremes to fully repair, so first. So I think what we should see is they actually come and dock. Here we go. So once they dock, and you see that animation here, look, they're fixing. And now that they're done fixing, now they're not leaky anymore, and we can send them straight out again. Let's plunder a little bit more fish. I'll go for something of a bigger attack in a second. Odysseus, you can come as well. Look, Odysseus, you like going out on adventures. I'm not going to enlist the help of any allies. I don't think we need much more than... Well, they do have a lot of shields. This is kind of cool. There was no military at all in this whole campaign. And now they're asking us to take out quite a lot of shields. So suddenly there's a good amount of military. I don't know, guys. Let's do double park. So I have no other plans for this space. Double park here, double park here, double park here. This road can come out a bit. Like this. It's weird looking at this town, looking at those wineries. It really does feel like I mean, those bonus episodes, guys. Like I've kept them at the same length as normal episodes in the show, but Christ, they are tricky to record. They take a long time. So the truth is, it has been a long time, to be honest. There we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Not sure what I'm going to do about that pattern there. Also not sure if we've really got much space for park plus column on the back, but I guess I'll do it anyway. We're not actually at the point here, like in the open plays, where we can just spam... Oh, we do have space. Oh, nice. Where we can just spam insane amounts of appeal everywhere. But I feel pretty confident. I don't like seeing all these people emigrating. It means that there's instability back there, but I know why there's instability. It's because of food. It's a Corinthian column up. So, there you go, Zeus. It's a little bit uneven, my friend. But, you know, the gods have mightier concerns than such pettiness. There you go. A row of gazebos for what could easily and realistically be a little bit more industry. But spamming gazebo and doing this in the series has always been my favorite. Gazebo, gazebo, gazebo. Gazebo, gazebo, gazebo. Gazebo, gazebo, gazebo. So there we have it. Zeus will be built. He requires 129 more marble, 24 wood, 22 sculptures. And I think that's fine. Did I just hear a building collapse? I did. Ugh. It was a trireme. Why, though? Look, you're an idiot. Go. Must build on cleared land. What's going on here? What just happened there? I tried to put a roadblock down. And okay, fine. Look, don't be an idiot. Go that way. What is the matter with you? Oh, see, do we lose a trireme now as a part of our invasion? When it calculates, you know, and asks itself, was this person successful or not? Does it determine that we were not, actually? You know, and what's kind of cool here is, well, it's more employment. But whatever. What I really like the idea of, right, is pulling this path along. Maintenance on the far end here. And we can have our... Yeah, what we did by destroying that building there is we fired that previous guy, that previous asshole that didn't know what he was doing. Wow, I just said asshole, like really American. That asshole, and now we're hiring a new guy. Anyway, look, he gets his own storage bay for materials for the triremes. And this guy, in theory, should have one as well, but it's not too much of a walk to go around Zeus there. Yeah, Zeus facing into the city or Zeus facing out into the bay, I don't know what's better. Maybe him facing out into the bay is better because it's like, you know, that's like the mainland. I get the vibe is down there on the bottom left. There's more fish there as well, you know. Look at that. There is some fish on the southern shore, and I never realised it this whole time. It's There's probably one guy that's been watching this saying, WP, there is fish beyond the northern waters. Look on the very southwesternmost tip. All right, well, there you go. Oh, another thing, did I mention this? You see how the water is slightly different looking here? This is shallow water. If we had urchin gatherers, this is specifically the texture that the urchin gatherers will walk on. But they won't walk out in the deep blue. That deep water is really rubbish. And that's why when I was talking about fireballs from heaven before, you can create shallow water.
Have you ever seen more solid buildings? Archimedes would be proud.
Well, there is one broken fishery. It's not as bad, though. I'll give you that. It's not as bad as we've seen in the past. I don't know how that ended up. Oh, I guess because I gave him the choice to roam this way now. Yeah, we can fix that. Yeah, so we don't need to employ this guy. I've actually got a little quad for him to walk in there, but that's not a problem. Okay. So that was a little bit more fish plundered, and I think we probably are repaired. Well, no, we're one boat missing now. But before these guys get in... There you go, they've lost a shield now. Do you guys think we might be able to get the full invasion? It is tricky to invade. Let's try it. So we'll send everyone. Even Athena's pride. We'll send the 2 triremes. We'll send Odysseus. And I will ask Corsaira, one of my favourites, to come along. But that's new Corsaira, though. Corsaira. So that's really rough and crazy Corsaira, rather than... You know, it's so weird, this game, that just in the middle of one of those adventures, they give you a colony that is like parent map scale, and that just has all this amazing stuff. But hey. And I really did just wake up today, and this is the first coffee of the morning. And feels good, you know. I've never really felt like coffee affects me that much, and I certainly wouldn't ever think I'm addicted to coffee. But sometimes I do wonder, because it just tastes so good. It's like, oh, I really needed this. You know, I don't like to think I need anything in the morning, but... wow, what a mood lifter. Okay, so evolution here. You still want more appeal. And I don't really have much space for appeal for you.
Have made me your enemy, and I shall make the sea your enemy too.
Okay, Poseidon invading is kind of brutal. The only person that would deal with Poseidon is Zeus, but we're still in the process of rebuilding him. He's probably going to break a bunch of our fisheries, and then he's going to leave, and he's going to curse them again. So, yeah, there's not much we can do there, really. As for this, I don't know. Oh, I do know. This park in the middle, which is supposed to be an elite house, and so's this one. We haven't even finished this neighborhood. These are supposed to be elite houses! Oh, I didn't even catch that when I reviewed the footage when I was editing. What is the matter with me? By the way, if one monument fits there, why can't a monument fit on the other side? It can. This is how we fix the appeal issues here. In fact, there can be a monument there as well, but not that we need it. So there we go. We've got plenty of space. Let's give them a happiness monument, since I don't know. There is a happiness monument there already. That one's a scholar monument already, so a conquest monument. There you go. Give you guys the big fist there. There you go. Nice. Fully evolved. Even more horses. Now, you probably want appeal as well. Oh, no, you want horses. I bet you want a bit of appeal, though. I bet you will later. So how about I just sort you out nice and early with that, all right? Here's a gazebo for your garden. And here, I'll get rid of these unsightly trees that play home to deer that might come wandering into your garden and eat your, you know, your raspberries and things that you're trying to grow back there. Nobody likes deer. They like watching deer, but they don't actually like living near them. So there you go. So I'll deal with the deer there for you. Victorious warriors return. So we got it. Vassal, the bitter Same, leader Antaeus. Well, dude, I don't know what's the matter with you, really. It was all good. We were having fun. And, you know, I was just turning around on you. I talked about how you left me alone, you know, and I was private and you weren't mean or anything. And then look at that. You just started attacking me. But look, we can reopen our trading, all right? Is he immediately rebelling or angry enough that he doesn't want to trade? Just start selling me the fish again. And look, you have steady money. Maybe here's what happened. Maybe they were like... I don't know what happened. Maybe they saw the amount of fish we were buying and then they thought to themselves, well, we can just steal their money straight up. I don't know what they thought. Trade solves international relationship problems, guys. We all know this. This is why the EU exists. Here we go. Same thanks us for the money. Yeah, I'm sure you do. There you go. This was all about money in the first place, wasn't it? It was all about wealth. It was all about the acquisition of goods, and now you have them. And I don't, because Poseidon is invading. I really think that it would be cool if the diplomatic messages, when people are like, please give me fish, please give me this, please, whatever, that they actually said, oh, Athena's pissed with me and she's attacking me, so please. And that would be really cool. I guess the reason Impressions didn't do it is because diplomacy messages like that would need to contextually understand if Athena is already attacking your city, or you've already built a sanctuary to Athena, because if you've done that, they shouldn't throw you a diplomatic message pointing out how Athena's attacking someone else, because you just look at her in your town and be like, well, no, she's right here. And that would feel a little bit odd. You know, it wouldn't be totally odd, because to be honest, at the same time, you could just think to yourself, well, she's a god, maybe she did it off screen. You know, the whole thing's an abstraction anyway, maybe. But still, I get that's probably the reason why they did that. Look at all the olives we're selling. And meanwhile, all the presses are going to love this AI, right? They'll make sure the presses are full, then they'll sell, then they'll store. Like, it's just perfect. This just means you can, kind of like a noob, you can just set anything up exactly as you want it, and immediately it will all work away for you, you know? And you won't create weird choke points in your own stuff. Look at these pillars in the middle here. Oh, so good. Got to get that Doric column in there. Doric column is the best. How you doing, Zeus? Well, we're just slowly getting these. I'm going to send the wharf worker... Oh, actually, no. Maybe we should start pillaging and raiding Pylos now. Oh, no, Pylos, you're the ally, and you've always been... Actually, oh my god, look, I was wrong, guys. Do you remember I said Pylos was going to be like an Ethiopia situation from the Trojan War? Actually, no. Pylos has just been an amazing trade partner the entire time. Unceasingly amazing. What good guys that they are. So, then the other one was Lenus, who were buying our olives. Alright, Eurymachus. I will raid you. I mean, what can we plunder off of them? Here, we might be able to trigger that glitch again. No, we can't. I'm not quite sure how we did that before. We'll plunder that drachma from them, I guess. 2 leaky triremes. Let's just send some horsemen here. And just dispatch like that. I think the plunder operation will be fine there. It'd be interesting if the proximity of the city to you actually sped up how quickly you plunder from those towns, because we do know from toggling in and out of the minimap the world map over and over again that you do physically see the troops move on a plunder operation. So maybe it really does have an impact on the time. As we've seen, though, there is no campaign in the game in which you're encouraged to attack the cities near you first and then the other ones later. That seems like a good candidate of what they do in the sequel, Emperor, to be honest. Yeah, let's get these last guys in. I can't believe I just left these as parks. I think when I was originally showing the design off for this as well, I also did something similar. So what will happen here is everyone's going to evolve to full horseman companies, except these guys down here on the lower flank, because I can't easily get competitors to go to them. Unless maybe I created an opening here, but then that would mean ripping out that gym, which isn't necessarily a problem. Really do think the solution to this would be rip out these gazebos, rip out these monuments, put a single line of road there, a gym on the end. Now, there will be competitors that come out of that gym and walk down from the south side. And you might say, well, appeal, yeah, but it's only one tiny bit of path. You can then just have the monuments and the gazebos on the other side of that bit of path, and you'd be fine. The only issue with it is we've got the really cool special monument there, which I really don't want to get rid of. But even then, a winding path would have been fine. If I was playing this again, that's what I would have done. Captain Hindsight here for probably one last time, just to explain what could have been better. I don't know. We're not taxing them anymore, and we're importing a lot of stuff, so I'm still a little bit concerned about that as well. There's really nothing for me to do here either. There's no... Oh, there you go. Trade was stalled for a second there. They really should have that sea trade closing out thing last a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do here. There's some tiny mythology would be awesome. A little Aphrodite or something there would be good, but they're just not available in this campaign. I guess what we can do is beautify and finish the block off. So there you go. And then this is just like... I mean, what do you do in a place like this? Like, we've had a few. Even in, like, our ultimate city, we've had just some dead areas, you know. I think that's kind of nice, maybe. Or fish pond surrounded by Corinthian. Again, because Corinthian matches the colours, guys. Look. You got that little bit of pink on near the fish pond. Of course, now there's no entrance to the fish pond, so whatever. There we go. We got our drachma from them. And I think I'm just going to immediately do another one. It looks like some horses died. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Oh, and this is a land route. Destination not accessible by sea, so we couldn't send our triremes anyway, even if we wanted to. I'll send Odysseus with them this time. Oh, there you go. Look, look. Select plunder. Fish. See, here we're getting fish. It's your second plunder operation. You'll get the fish off of them. That's how it worked. And that's why that worked in open play as well before. Okay. Olive oil is built up quite nicely now. Could probably resume some sale of that. So there you go, Corsaria, you want to buy a little bit? I'll do anything I can to help out Corsaria because they clearly have nothing. Statues as well. Zeus is going to want a lot of statues. In fact, he's going to want 22 of the things. We have 37 already. Oh my god, we really set up the statues well, didn't we? It's because we were able to craft it for so long throughout the adventure. So sculpture, we're fine. He is going to want wood, 24 loads, and we already have 60. So we can stop importing the wood now. It's just marble. Egypt is not trading. Oh, I'm going to keep the Egypt here there, though. I like it too much. No, I don't need to buy any more. There you go. Oh, my God. By the way. Oh, look, it happened. It actually happened. I didn't even realise. Okay, who remembers this? When we were last here, I shifted things. I specifically said, I'm going to buy fish from Same to feed these guys. I'm going to take them all off of the other food. I specifically said they weren't allowed cheese or wheat anymore. They could only have fish. And what's happened here is we weren't allowed to trade with Same anymore, so they lost a bunch of fish. And then Poseidon attacked. So we lost a bunch of fish. And then the sea trade got shut down because of Poseidon as well. So, damn. They actually fully devolved for a second there. They've just popped back up, though. That's crazy. Sorry, everybody who starved there, very briefly. I wonder, by the way, you know how when Poseidon leaves, he drops a curse? Well, once we have Zeus, who will now kill Poseidon, what will happen with the curse? Will the curse go away? Here's where some of the extra sculpture is, because I was wondering where it all was. That clearly isn't the amount that they said. Well, that they said that the UI was saying it's because they're up here and off. I guess he stops the curse as well. You know, it'd also be quite cool to see Zeus rafting out like a hero to attack Poseidon, who's out in the water. You know, I think classically, isn't there this idea that Zeus isn't even necessarily stronger than Poseidon? It's just they're kings of different domains and they don't interfere with each other very much. And there's a lot more water on Earth than there is land. But yeah, I'd assume he'd get on a dinky little raft to go slay his brother there. I kind of love as well here, guys, that this game ends. Now remember, this is the enhancement pack. It's about 5 months after the launch of the original game. They're already working on the X-Pack right now. They know that the expansion is Atlantis and Poseidon. They know it's a game all about Poseidon. So what have they done here to finish Zeus? They've given us a mission that is Zeus versus Poseidon, where Zeus wins. And I bet in the expansion, it opens with the reverse. I bet it ends with you build some city, Atlantis itself, possibly, I don't know. Thank you. The Isthmian Games begin. I like that. The fanfare from the Isthmian Games beginning lined up with our plunder operation. So that's pretty nice. Okay, Elena's lost a shield there. Let's go for the full conquer here. Or we wait for people to heal up a bit. No. I think it's fine. Odysseus, come with us. Well, we have no triremes. This might fail. Let's send Thrinacia with us this time. It's a bit of a wobbly attack, isn't it? I'm just very nervous about these because of that goddamn episode where all we had was triremes to attack people. But yeah, so they've ended this with Zeus v Poseidon, Zeus Victor. And you know, the expansion's going to be the inverse of that for sure. Oh, well, there we go. It succeeded straight away. You conquered Olympus. Most martial Potatoes. This is our last conquer operation, guys. Ugh, so the last invasion we saw was the bug. Their leader, Eurymachus, is ashamed. Olympus is now ours. So I don't actually have that much drachma this time, but I will still give you 10k in order for you to be happy. Because together we will all be rich, guys. All right, look at this. 31,000. That's going to be a third of my wealth. Please, can you... There we go. Vassal. Sharing is caring. Look at this. So, you know, there's a moderator on the Spud Discord whose tag, I don't know whether she still has it, but her tag has been, don't be bitter, be better, for ages. Every time I read this word bitter here, like, and I'm thinking, don't be bitter, I'm thinking of that same phrase over and over and over again. I do like that phrase. So there we go. So, with the 2 places conquered, we're actually just waiting for Zeus to be built here. 42%. What can I do with this little area of the town, I wonder? And where's this other monster invasion? Do you know what, guys? I'm going to speed this along. Oh, we could do... Oh, for the end, this would be quite cool. Let's do like a monument plaza. So, victory? Oh, I should have saved my monster slaying one. Athlete, conquest, happiness, scholar, and then, yeah, our last one. Hello, welcome back, everybody. Elenis, thanks us for the money. Oh, if we had saved this one... We could have had the final one right there. It's pretty good, though. I didn't realize how dark the fist was, actually. Wow, the lighting on that is really extreme and exaggerated, isn't it? Actually, that looks like totally different lighting than any I've seen before. I guess on the other side, we could do another conquest monument. No, not conquest. What is that? Athlete? No. What is this one here? I think it's victory, right, for defending ourselves. I was going to try to create a little bit of symmetry. I guess athlete is also some symmetry. Then what we can do here is we can say 1 out. That's 2 out, sir. We can do this. I feel like when I get to this point, I feel like I'm just kind of playing The Sims or something. And look at this beautiful evolved marble road. Not quite as good as the pre-release marble road, right? But still pretty good. I don't want to get rid of it with Boulevard and Avenue, but, you know... and in fact, I'm not going to use Boulevard. I'm going to do the interior avenue effect here. Here you go, everybody. So anybody who would like to visit this beautiful, lush area of the town, and then we'll do... no, I don't want to do 3x3 parks. You know, if they had variations of the 3x3 park, I think I'd like them a lot. Like, they have variations of the 2x2 park, so therefore, 2x2 park feels really good and fun to place, you know. It doesn't look too gross. It's always, you know, just that little bit offset and that little bit different on your eyes, so you're fine. But the 3x3s, nah. I mean, maybe what you could do is you could have, like, the corners with the 3x3s or something. Oh, they do want a road out. So, I guess it's coming up here. This is the most frivolous, ridiculous thing that we've done on the series here while waiting for Zeus to build. There we go, let's pull this along. No need for a roadblock on that end, but we will do one on this. And then the fancy column, Corinthian. It feels to me, I don't know if I ever... Oh, and here we get the columns attaching, which is a nice little effect. Maybe we haven't done enough of. It feels to me like they were going to have different prices for the different columns. Like, Doric is clearly the cheap column. It's obviously the cheap column. Ionic is a little bit more expensive. The fancy thing about Ionic, right, is if you look at the top, they've got this bit that, like, flourishes out of the top that the other columns don't. And then Corinthian is, like, really, really gorgeous. But I wonder if they ended up getting into, like, a bit of a debate or something about, like, which ones really actually look like the most expensive, and then they realized it was a bit of a taste thing, and then they decided to have them all at a uniform price. Maybe also, by having them at different prices, you're then encouraging them to have different, like, avenue, what's it called? Appeal values. And then if they have different appeal values, everybody's just going to end up tunnel visioning the same one, you know? So that would look kind of lame. Do you know what would probably look even better here is if I take these out here. Look at all this I'm accomplishing, Zeus, while we wait for you to build. This will probably... Oh, we got rid of the nice park there, but hey, whatever. So there, and then it's all nice and squared off. So look at that. 10 out of 10. And do you know what? I'm going to rip these out. Do you know what I would have loved for an aesthetic choice in this game that you could fill in between these columns so nice? Imagine a water feature styled, one thick type of decoration, so you draw it in like a path, and like it's a little stream, it's a little river, you can do like a decorative one, or even better, it's like water fountains where they shoot those droplets of water, you know, in like arcs to each other. That would look so good along there. Imagine like the water flittering through the gaps in the pillars as you just observed it. That would be amazing. The only water feature they have though is the massive fish pond. None of the other pieces have it. What did I just say? One more time ever? Well, no, I didn't lie. Look, this isn't Captain Hindsight this time. This is, you know, this is Art Critic WP, a totally different guy. Oh, that's a shame because we have the two good parks. When what I want to do is put a fish pond. Oh, actually, we can keep the good park then. We can do it like this with these two here. And then surround the whole thing once more. with Corinthian. You'd be surprised how much space stuff takes straight away, you know. You might have looked at all this and thought, oh my god, he could have a whole housing block here. He can have a bunch of different things. But as soon as you start building, you know, most of the time when I've been doing stuff like this, it's been on super speed sections. But I'll tell you, it fills in quick. Look at that. That is a monument to victory and success. Each one of these monuments, guys, represents a different parent city that we have built throughout the adventure. And then the fish pond represents, because this is actually too few, the fish pond represents like 2 of them at once. Yeah, does that make sense? Right, how are we doing with Zeus now? We're down to just 60 marble. The sculptures and the wood don't come in. Let's speed this along. Let's get these guys out patrolling here as well. Oh my god! How is this video 50 minutes long? We've done like 3 projects! Oh! Does this count as a project? I don't know how this video got so long. Alright, well, let's watch them hammer this in. I probably could have been doing everything on a slightly higher game speed the whole time here. You would have seen this go a little bit quicker. How's our money, by the way? Oh, it's like stable. It's not quite going up. It's not quite going down. Ah, Apollo invades.
You have angered me.
Hello. So we actually do have to watch him because he'll break infirmaries and culture buildings. Because he's all about the body and soul. Oh my lord, look at this. That is outrageous. Oh, actually, 2 of them are broken. What was that? The Cyclops ages ago? Not happy with all those things that are pretty and gorgeous. Where are you? Where are you? I heard him smash something. Oh, of course. Look at this. Oh, yeah, Athena, fuck him up. Yeah. Oh, wait, actually, I don't know who wins out of this. I think Athena does, yeah. Athena usually wins. Athena is OP. No, you've been overwhelmed. You need to leave now. You can't just destroy my fortress. Ugh, and he plagued our housing, our elites. Look at these smelly, gross elites. Actually, this is a very cool effect here, guys. This is very cool and very rare. Because, as we all know, elites don't need infirmaries, technically, in the game engine. They will never get plague, so why give them an infirmary? And yet here you can see it is possible. They're happy, but they've been infected. Estates and things can actually end up being infected. But you need Apollo to see that. That's cool. That's a nice little thing that we've seen there. Alright, so... repair the gatehouse. At least he didn't break both gatehouses. Oh, look at this. See, it only takes a second with this for the entire fortress to just be completely messed up in terms of how it looks. Like, I'm sure this looked really clean and awesome and badass a minute ago. And yet he breaks a couple of blocks and all of a sudden the whole thing's ruined. Right, so that entryway probably had maintenance and a watch post. There we go. And as much as I'd love to have seen people fighting in there, I don't think we're going to in the end here. Here we go. Let's get some cavalry out in the courtyard there. Nice. Wait, and where did they actually come from there? They came from the palace instead of the elite estates? Yeah! Oh, it would have been cool to see them fighting Apollo. He didn't break anything else, right? We can get rid of this weird bit of 3x3 wall here. It would have been nice if there were more meaningful ways to utilize 3x3 wall. Oh, should we man the towers as well? That's always a good effect. Let's... the thing is, we don't really have the employment for everything. What we can do is we can stop manning the triremes. And we can put that employment in the towers instead. You probably get a bigger visual from that than anything else. Here we are, Zeus on the sculpture stage here. And I don't know whether someone else is here smashing things. Who's smashing things? Apollo? What? What? Athena overwhelms Apollo. Go away. I can't believe... Ah, what? What did I just say? It'd be nice to see the horsemen fighting Apollo. Well, they didn't. They just stood and watched. Hold on. Why? Why is he still here? He didn't just invade twice. Is this technically bugged and he doesn't actually get overwhelmed when he should? Well, this is nice, by the way. I do like Athena spawning inside the center because she's defended my palace twice now. Like, straight up, the heart of the city. This is where she's patrolling. This is where she wants to be. Zeus will be out here just about around a bunch of parks, just pure opulence. He has nothing to do. Oh, do you know what I've just remembered? I never, in the previous episode, in the previous open play, who thought that I would forget this? I never did a storehouse with one of everything. So I guess while we wait for this to build, We're doing really silly for funsies. You know, this is like the last day of school, this is, you know. Or like right before Christmas or whatever, they let you bring a bunch of board games and things in. So what I'm going to do is I will get everything. We'll go all the way down the list. Ugh. Do I force you to watch this? And we are going to say 1. And no, it doesn't overflow. If you click up, it doesn't go down to 1. So I'm going to get 1 of everything and see how this ends up looking. There we go. All right, speed this along here. So I notice now as well, we don't have any towers on this flank here of the palace. So we can pull the road along. And again, he'll need a roadblock because he is not going to be smart about that. Excuse me, Captain Hindsight here. This roadblock will be ineffectual. Thank you. And we can put our tower up here. So now oh, they are actually patrolling along. Okay, nice. And then this other flank, this one here, well, we already have space on the road there for a tower there. And then that will open up all of this for people to roam around on. Nice. Some more statues coming in, watching the Pantheon unfold. You know, it's funny, like, it's not great having Zeus at the end every single adventure, but I'm weirdly nostalgic for this now. You know, looking back through every god. So what do we think in the end? What's our tier list of the gods? Dionysus I really like for the whole crime thing, and I loved him when you actually had, like, wine export as a part of a mission. Hermes is very strong, easy to put down. I don't know, maybe I overrated initially, though. Demeter's kind of meh to me, but she does create some cool agriculture areas. Hephaestus is amazing, and I really like building a little area for him. Ares is okay, but because the combat in this game is a bit wobbly, I don't know, I'm not too into it. Apollo was really decent, but only if the mission is designed such that you need him for the heroes, for the monsters, otherwise, I don't know. Actually, if you just watched my Open Play Sandbox 2 at Trozen just now, you will have seen a housing block design that ends up winning you crap tons of, like, Olympics and games. It would be really interesting to have a scenario where you have Apollo right at the start, right with that initial setup there. I wonder how much that would explode your monuments. That's like the most monument generation you could have in the game. And that's kind of a fun trick with him to think about. Artemis, again, I don't know, Hunting Lodge, Sanctification. Getting our own forces was fun, and I did like that. Athena, overpowered as all hell, really strong in the game engine, but probably seen too much. I don't think there should be a hero that requires Athena. Oh no, this one's Demeter. So the other one was Aphrodite. Sorry, ladies. Aphrodite's probably my favorite. I think she's awesome. Oh, and this is Hephaestus. So then who is... No, that's definitely Hephaestus. He's holding a hammer. Oh, this is Poseidon. I like Poseidon. I like the horse ranch thing, but it was disappointing when we finally saw it. And then this final... No, this final guy's Poseidon. Because he's got the trident. So who's this guy? Oh, Hades. Hades I like as a character, but probably could be a little bit stronger in the game. Again, it's all about the mission design, really. If the mission design was such that you needed a lot of drachma, then Hades is kind of cool as well. Oh my god, I've just realized I can't even just sit here and ramble. Once this goes up... Oh, well, I can. It will end the mission, but then we could go into free play in theory. But yeah, so there you go. Those are the gods. The expansion has 2 more, and I guess I'll just tell you what they are for now. One of them is Hera, Zeus's wife, and... She actually can beat him in combat, which is amazing. No one can beat Zeus except Hera. And then also the other one is kind of hard to guess, actually. I think it's Atlas.
My dear cousin, this is a sweet day indeed. My dear husband is back in my arms, and all who were threatening Ithaca have been summarily defeated. I cannot thank you enough for your kind attention throughout this long ordeal. And I can assure you that Odysseus, too, is immeasurably grateful. Without you, we would never have been able to send the suitors home with their collective tail between their collective legs. And Odysseus mentioned that the items with which you outfitted his hero's hall were just the things to help him fight the good fight. Thank you again. Through your actions, you have carved a large place for yourself in my heart. Yours, Penelope.
Yours, Penelope. See, I remembered this time. I remembered she was going to say that. This thing about us outfitting all these things throughout the Heroes Hall, what is that, through the other adventures? You know, I did try to make it pretty for him at the very least. So here's Odysseus back. Has she learned her lesson? Well, don't forget, there's one final little bit more dialogue. Has she cottoned on to the fact that he's just been playing around?
My dear cousin, I thought you would be interested to know how things have been going for the past few months. Odysseus is still at home and has told me of his great adventures. He told me how he stuffed his crew's ears with wax, and had himself tied to the mast of his ship to escape the sirens. He chuckled as he explained the trick he played on the Cyclops to avoid becoming the monster's dinner. He also told me of the foul Lestrygonians, and of all the old friends he saw in his visit to the underworld. Then he got around to telling me about Calypso and Circe. Now, when he first came home, I felt truly sorry for him. 10 years is a long time to travel. My pity soon turned to ire when I found out that 8 of these 10 years were spent in the company of other women. Was it really necessary to spend an entire year with Circe? And who is this small child who visited here from Circe's island? I could have sworn I heard the child call Odysseus Papa, but I must have been hearing things. And don't get me started on the time he spent with Calypso. He claims to have been her prisoner, but how bad could it have been? Why did he wait 7 years to finally ask Zeus to order Calypso to let him go? I suppose, all things considered, that I'm glad to have the big lug home. He's sworn to mend his ways, and I'm willing to give him a second chance.
You can change him.
Thank you again for your invaluable assistance in bringing my husband home. Your loyalty alone kept my spirits up during the past tribulations. Yours, Penelope.
Well, so she's not learned a lesson at all. I love this Papa thing. This is amazing. He's been sleeping around. He's got an illegitimate child. He lets the child be in the area of her, and he even comically, like cartoonishly, is saying, Papa! And he's just trying to get her to focus on something else. That's hilarious. Well, there you go, you guys. So that is the end of Ithaca and the Zeus bonus mission pack here. I do have some thoughts that I want to give you guys. There's our towers, as we can see. I do have some thoughts just to round out the Let's Play here that I want to give you guys. I'll probably put in another section. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this adventure, and let's see what we've got to close things out. I really don't have any more plans for things to build here. I just like looking at the mountain, especially. This place is just awesome. Oh, these guys.
Thrown out of my home. What did I do to deserve this?
Oh, and as I'm sure you'll agree, brilliant bonus here. Remember the storage bay I put down with one of every commodity? Well, here it is with me speeding along after the adventure's done in the hopes it will fill up. But it doesn't get armor. I also forgot to put wheat on it initially. So there you go. It's nearly done. Yeah. Do you know what I actually think would be a really cool, like, poster for this game? Or, I don't know, some kind of tat, some kind of, I don't know, desktop background or something. Just the look of a storehouse with one of every commodity in the game on it. Because, you know, the resources themselves feel like the stars of the show, really. I don't know, that would be fun, and that would be very nostalgia-filling. Anyway, there you go, there's the special storehouse. Speaking of posters and stuff, here, I thought this would be cool to look at the very end. This is that map of the entire game with every single town, like the promotional material. A guy compiled a really cool Steam guide where he found like different pieces of old information about the game, and it included this. So here you can see a bit of a larger map because basically I think they've shrunk the icons and the town names down a bit, which really gives you a very good sense of where everything is around Greece. You know, even the distant places like Libya and Thrinacia there, by the way, if you look, Thrinacia on the bottom left is not, you know, it's marked as a distant place. We know from the colony that we were actually on that little island there. But all the mythological places are set in as well. By the way, I never mentioned this, but in Open Play Sandbox 2, the last video, there were 2 mythological places on the map at once. And well, obviously here we can see all of them. Phoenicia, Cyprus out there, a bunch of different places on Crete, Cydonia, Knossos, and Mount Ida. This is just really nice. And it's nice at the end of the LP to look at all these names and be like, oh my god, like, we built towns here, or this story was with these guys, we interact with these guys in this way. I especially like looking here as well at like Hattusis there and how far away it is from Sardis, you know, those Persian places, because they felt so clustered together in game. And here's kind of the truth of it, just a really nice map showing everything. Well, so that's it, guys. That's the end of the series. There is no more content for Zeus. Thank you for joining me on my adventures in Greece. I hope you had fun. I know I certainly did too. And yeah, all good things must come to an end. Wow, that's funny to hear myself say, actually. Do you know, guys, I've been watching Star Trek as this gone along, my rewatch. I watched the entirety of Star Trek The Next Generation while making this. But by that, I mean, in all the little gaps while editing various videos and taking time to publish and sort things out, I just had TV on in the background wherever possible. I mean, most of this is playing the game or listening to my own damn voice, echoing back at me with black and white sections and going mental. But in those gaps between, I put a little bit of TV on, and that was enough of it that I got through the entire show, all 7 seasons. And the reason I just went off on that tangent is because the finale of Next Generation is called All Good Things. Just ridiculous. Anyway, so I hope you guys also did some nice stuff as it released. In the background here, what I thought would be really fun for this like closing footage is to mod the game one last time, which required another kind of aggravating Steam uninstall, but to reinstall it and patch it to my actual monitor's resolution. So a modern day resolution, this is 2K, this is 1440p, which creates this super ridiculous zoomed out view. And then, which is, you know, really not very playable. I wouldn't really ever shoot the show on this. But to then browse back, you never know, actually, it might grow on me, a bit like how 1080 ended up growing on me. But then to browse back through the final, you know, I've got these save files, blah, 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 thrives, blah, 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 thrives, you know, some mysterious save files like just fish. But these thriving cities, I've actually been keeping these for a reason. And that's, I'm going to go back through all the parents, not all the colonies, because there are a hell of a lot of colonies, but all the parent cities in the entire show. That's what you're looking at here. And you can see everything we did throughout the LP. You can see the thriving final states of these places. Hope you remember some good times. It's certainly weird as hell for me to look back at this, and especially like the earlier ones where there wasn't even much logic to what we were doing. And you know, some of these aren't even thriving. There's like a state of devolution or whatever, which maybe I can clean up. But yeah, I thought that'd be something fun to see. Closing out, I did want to offer some thank yous. First, to the guys who run the Heaven Games website and the forum after all these years. I mean, it's been so long. And that place is honest, especially once I realized how to navigate it. It's such a wealth of information. All those old conversations and old posts, I guess I'd thank the people who were in those threads and were typing that stuff away. I know that essentially what I'm thanking people is over 2 decades ago now, who never initially posted expecting to be informing some kind of production on YouTube. But I want to say thanks anyway. On the off chance any of them are still around, you know, and healthy and fine, and even still reading or talking about this game, which would be pretty insane. You know, thank you to those guys. That housing block thread, in fact, the multiple housing block threads are fascinating. I mentioned it earlier in the LP, but genuinely, I've just sat there looking with Star Trek on in the background, just reading through those threads, having so much fun looking at all the different ways people use forced walkers and put roadblocks and things, and the cool tips and tricks. Quirks of the engine. It's just great. That place is amazing, and it would all be gone if those guys still hosting it didn't keep doing that. You know, I think there's this thing where a lot of us tend to believe everything on the internet is there forever, and it's really not, and it becomes very clear and very obvious when you start looking at older games like this. You do any kind of investigation into stuff from even the early 2000s, sometimes there's just these huge black holes of information on the internet. And for Zeus, there's still a bit there, and now hopefully it's leapfrogged forward if they ever do go down. At least there's LPs here, right? Another big thank you, by the way, talking about old stuff, how about some new stuff? This guy, this Reddit user, Erasm, this guy very recently, like super recently, went through Zeus, posting all of his cities on big, like, elaborate Imgur albums, putting up Reddit threads with some fun anecdotes that I've ended up being able to tell you guys here in the series. Whenever I talk about Reddit, it's basically the same guy, Erasm, who went through all the missions very recently. He's insanely good at the game. His cities are ridiculous. I mean, screw my super speed nostalgic look back. Look at these cities. Look at these. You know, when I've been opening up and I'm at the start, I basically might have looked at one of his towns and I've thought, oh my god, here I am with just a little bit of path on a road and the start of a housing block, wondering how he ever gets some of this stuff that just looks this insane. The whole time on the LP when I've been saying, look at how good people make their stuff, mostly I'm just talking about him. Feast your eyes. That guy's Imgur album and Reddit threads, you know, they created a bit of conversation recently, and again, I think he deserves a big thank you, so... Also of note, now I mentioned this in an edited section kind of recently, is the Steam community page. And like I said, this game has absolutely no real integration with Steam at all, but it does have the community page there, and that's really cool to read as well. That's where, for example, this screenshot here, this is of Thebes, I think. Maybe it's not Thebes, but the max population possible there. You can see them spamming the wheat farms, and you get this cool information on the side. Yeah, that's right. That's 36,000 population there. That max population anecdote I gave you guys in one of the very first episodes is a totally insane thing that you can see little glimpses of here on the Steam page. Other people have got cool screenshots of their horses in nice places. You just get a really cool vibe of the different ways in which people play this and, you know, express themselves creatively. I've had so much fun reading through that as well. There you go. Now, moving on, there is the question of Poseidon. I know that that's what a lot of you guys are thinking about. I've been kind of evasive as I've talked about it in these recent episodes. I imagine if you're here at the end of this Let's Play, you'd be keen on watching Poseidon. Clearly you've enjoyed this game, and like, I get it, right? Poseidon is almost like this magical thing for me. As I've spent so many years, like I'd played this game when I was younger. I'd heard about Poseidon. I never played it myself. And now it's there, you know. I own it on Steam. It would be so simple. And there are all these fun new buildings that you got a glimpse of before. All the new walkers with all the new dialogue. Slightly different vibe with like science instead of culture. There's new gods. There's new materials. There's a new campaign map. Just loads of fun, awesome twists on what's basically still the same concept within the same game. You get all the nostalgia but new mechanics. And it just leans into the fantasy more, and I really like the more fantasy kind of storytelling. It looks great. Poseidon looks awesome. Like, I was just reading about some of the quest lines, and it's really awesome to hear how, like, the Mayan civilization gets involved, and it's, like, Atlanteans versus the Centaurs, and all the alliances that appear, this idea of a super weapon that Odysseus fires. The story is, like, this. I was a bit lost on the story for a lot of this game. Poseidon, though, I think I'd be 100% in on it the whole time, because it's mostly fantasy. I'll say it again, it looks good. But I'm going to say no to a Let's Play. See, Poseidon is, as far as I can make out, another long game. It's just as long as this game, enhancement pack included. And don't forget that for the Poseidon Custom Adventures, they did full-blown stories rather than open plays. So it's probably even bigger. You got Old World, Rich Man's Blues as well. It's a big project. It's a mother of a project. So this isn't really about the game itself, but just as a peek behind the curtain. Some of you will have known this already if you've been in the YouTube comments or you've been on my Discord. But the way I've recorded this series is I've sat down at the start of a year and I've made the full thing. And I've gradually released the episodes in the subsequent months, but I've done this style for a variety of reasons, which I guess I won't get into. The result is that actually, technically, as I sit here speaking into the microphone right now, I've been making just Zeus for ages. I haven't made any content for the people of today for a while, and people are kind of wondering where I am. So I really want to, and I really need to get back to some other projects, get those things going. Squeezing Poseidon in, it just doesn't fit that. I just don't have the time, and it's so big. Honestly, having recorded all of this, I have no idea if people even really liked this series, right? I haven't even had any feedback about it yet. I have no idea if it has more than 10 people watching it per episode, and like one of them's a guy angry and bitter that I'm not doing more Guild Wars 2 or something, you know? So it's probably not a good idea to commit to Poseidon before I have a clue about that stuff. And honestly, guys, all of those reasons are true, but honestly, as well, truth be told, this is a long game, and I would say that itch that I had to play a city builder when I first sat down with this, after messing with some Minecraft mod packs, that itch is fully scratched already. I am satisfied with the city building in Zeus right now. We've just got through a lot of content. So, that leads me to a little bit of a review here. I can't remember if I cut this conversation out of a previous episode at this point out now or not, because there's been so many things that have been chopped and changed. But man, it's weird, right? I feel like Impressions, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I feel like they went too crazy with the content in this game. Like, there was so much to play already. There are only so many towns that you can build in a row and keep it interesting, which I hope I've done. And to think that just 5 months after this enhancement pack, they were selling people Poseidon right after. I'm sort of not surprised that Poseidon didn't sell as well. You know, not too many people were in the market for it. And then maybe Emperor shortly after that, again, I don't think it necessarily sold as well. It's just so much content so fast. I feel like it's kind of a bit like Guild Wars 1 Factions into Nightfall, if you're familiar with those, which they released only a few months apart. And there was just so much for people to do and so much for people to spend. I think certain game formats studios can eventually find they are able to output a lot of content and actually outpace the consumption of most normal consumers. And then suddenly they find the sales for their later products dropping, even though the quality hasn't necessarily. It may have even climbed. You know, I think having that buffer period of like a year or two as gaps between these things is kind of important for people to feel fresh again. It's so easy to say always, I want more, I want more, I want more. But weirdly, I think what this game needed was less adventures. Each parent and colony map we did could have been probably the best of the best in terms of ideas of like map design, you know, the geography, the Greece trade, the storytelling. Just have the best stuff in there and cut the rest. I don't know, maybe have all those other small maps that we play through in some kind of like expanded open play idea where you get the choice of 10 or so, 10, 20 different places just for individual adventures, but there isn't much story, there isn't much going on. It's just kind of like sandbox variations. Like Corsaira is probably a really good example there of what I think is kind of a sandbox map, but it ended up as a colony in the middle of an already very full adventure. Or failing that, because who doesn't love content? I think one thing that could have kept this game fresher and better paced is that thing I mentioned before when we were looking at the tutorial. Have some pre-built towns and structures and starting points when you begin a colony. Feed some buildings in there already. This would have stopped the feeling of you know, we go to a colony, we build the same housing block over, and I've tried my best to vary it up every time. But, you know, building the same general idea over and over and over, well, you're not doing that because they've already placed some stuff in. And then that adds a lot of variety and texture to the different missions, and it gets you out of the colonies a bit quicker. Changes the starting position. I think that would have been a really good idea. And for people who wanted total sandbox play, well, you know, they can just delete the pre-assigned stuff and just build whatever they want, you know? Maybe what I think this game's really missing is that expansion, on the deeper end, into, like, third-tier resources, stuff around elite neighborhoods. Perhaps if I'm able to take cities deeper, instead of building loads of new ones, we just go a bit further with it. Maybe I specialize it a bit better. Maybe stuff like we speculated with the potential of having many different vendors available for the Grand Agora, and you pick which. It's not always a horse trainer. Maybe we have a fletching vendor, and we can decide to give people arrows. And when we do this, it changes the evolutions of the buildings on the neighborhood. It changes the troops you get based on what you pick. Maybe with that, so that cities now start feeling even more different, and combined with fewer, more distinct maps, it would have been a really good fit. I just think the balance in this game is a little too leaning towards making new places versus going deeper with the places we already have for my tastes. And speaking of military, by the way, that's an obvious area for improvement with this game as well. They have a lot of really fantastic and fun ideas for the defensive side of the game. And I would never advocate for making it more complex or making it more like RTS-like. But I think having stuff like triremes, defending specific areas so you can actually see boat v boat naval combat, that in theory is a thing in the game, but when did we really see it? You know, the way that the invasion AI and mechanics are structured kind of meant a lot of the really beautiful stuff that could have happened didn't. Being able to send cavalry out on patrol around the city streets, and maybe there's deals with unrest too. And you know, fires and, you know, plague outbreaks, if they tweaked those, as I've mentioned a few times, would have been really cool. With military, like having rabble actually able to throw stones over walls, which they didn't in the end. Just slightly smarter AI for the invading forces, so that they don't just destroy random buildings and get demoralized halfway. Not even talking about that bug, you know, where they just leave straight away. I think it needed a bit more time in the oven, a bit more refinement, a bit more bug fixes, a bit more focus on that, because it comes across as undercooked, I think, in the end. As an honest review of this game, I think the military stuff is undercooked, but it could have been so good. And if they just fixed that stuff up, you know, who knows? And maybe they did. I wonder if they did for the sequel Emperor. I've never played it. Apparently it's the greatest iteration, the final one. So who knows? It's funny. I think there's a bit of a problem with remasters and the new additions to the game in the modern era and this genre, where devs are overly focusing on military stuff when what people want are city builders. And like, there's a certain contingent of the modern player base that's starved for content and kind of upset that there's too much like military focus. But I can see why devs are focusing on military things, because it's probably the most exciting part of the game for me, being attacked, having your defenses tested, having your fortress checked out. But they fell short because, you know, of these bugs, and it just wasn't cleanly enough made. Fairly recently, there was somebody acquired like the rights to Pharaoh, and they re-released it. It was clearly meant to be a mobile game. Like, all the UI is like, you know, all the buttons are circles instead of rectangles and stuff. And then it came to PC anyway, I guess. But they remade it, and for them, instead of even trying to work on the military, they just turned the military side of the game into an auto-battler that runs through and kind of invalidates some of the buildings. So it's kind of a mixed product, I think, in terms of how people review it. But as of this, the date of me recording this LP, I think that's the newest thing in the franchise. Impression-style city builders that are built on this whole walker system and the roads. Pharaoh, A New Era, I think it's called. That's like your best shot. I don't know if any of you guys have played it and you want to leave your thoughts about that in the comments. I haven't, but I've been casually watching some LPs and seeing what I think. If they ended up remaking Zeus, I would be all over that, but I would hate to think that all the military in Zeus as well just goes away into an auto-battler. Come on, this thing, like I say, getting your fortress tested, stationing the cavalry and stuff around, it's just too cool. Oh, and less breaking of buildings on all fronts would have been lovely, you know, gods and stuff included. But yeah, so that's kind of my review. This game, with just 4 or 5 really focused but excellent adventures, bit deeper on the cities, probably that would have left me still wanting more, and I would have been immediately happy to dive into Poseidon or Emperor or, you know, Caesar 3 or whatever else in the series right away. So anyway, I'm not saying never to Poseidon, but I am saying a firm no for now, for the foreseeable future. I have no plans at all for Poseidon, none. that in mind, I don't mean to discourage anyone from commenting, asking for it, or commenting for any reason at all, really. That includes coming to the Discord or shooting me an email or whatever. I really do love getting comments and a bit of positive encouragement. I really mean that. In all honesty, I'm deadly serious here. I can say this is almost certainly true. This entire Let's Play, this whole project, literally wouldn't exist if it hadn't been for the handful of people over the years who watch my other projects. And they say, hey, I really liked this. This was cool. You know, that makes me so happy when I go on, I check my comments, and someone's seen something I did years ago, and they say, hey, I just saw this, and it was awesome. It really makes me feel like these kinds of things, they have a bit of permanence, a bit of staying power, and that they mean something. Just before Christmas, before I started shooting all of this, I think someone dropped a Reddit post on the WP Reddit saying how much they liked, like, one of my series, I think FFX2. Even though it's been ages since I made X2, and they said, oh, hey, I've rewatched this, and this is cool. That made me very happy, and the same is true for this series right now. If you're watching this, no matter how far off into the future, please don't be scared. Whether that's asking for Poseidon or just saying if you enjoyed it, just let me know. I don't ask for comments for engagement stats or whatever to game the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. I say it because it's nice, and because I promise I will see them, even years later. Like, I have my YouTube hubs inbox set up that, you know, I do see and appreciate those. Another note about Poseidon, which maybe you'd like to do now if you're feeling, you know, what's the phrase? Up a creek without a paddle? Shit creek without a paddle? If you're really desperate for Poseidon, I do have a recommendation and kind of a shout out, I guess, to a guy called Gaz Plays. Check him out here on YouTube. He's another Let's Player. Several years ago, I think he sort of did the definitive original Zeus series. His series is like 10 years old already at this point, over 10 years old. So he's kind of like, as of my LP here, he's the halfway point between release, then him in the middle, and now me way off in the future. He did a Let's Play on Zeus. Remember I've been saying I've watched a Let's Play? I have seen him play this game. Every time I mentioned it, that was Gaz Plays. He's very relaxed, very chill, kind of a different vibe to me, I guess, but I had a lot of fun watching him, and I can tell you, if he never made his, I wouldn't have made this. Like, I like to make videos that I can imagine myself watching, and this is a weird genre for me, and I would never have known how fun this is to watch if I hadn't seen his series, you know. It gave me that confidence. So I've never met or spoken a word to him. I have no idea what he's up to these days, but I do know, like, over 10 years ago, he did a Zeus Let's Play, and he went through and he did Poseidon, and I've watched his Poseidon Let's Play, and I'd endorse that if you're desperate for it. If you do watch it, have it fun. It's a wild ride, especially with the final adventure. It's called When Two Worlds Collide. You get to see Athens and Sparta unified against invading Atlanteans, and slowly everyone gets picked off until you're like the only one left. It's really challenging. So that's it. Oh, and I guess the final thing I should mention, and this should, I say this last not as an afterthought, but as hopefully to give it some importance. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon. I haven't mentioned you guys at all throughout this whole series, because I don't like mentioning Patreon until I feel like I've accomplished something. Well, I can say without a doubt, those of you who have been with me on Patreon, especially while it's been quiet as I've been making this, thank you. You guys made this happen. Thank you to my patrons. I don't want to be annoying by talking about it constantly, but seriously, this series was funded almost entirely by you guys over there. I have just a couple of contributors who kept me going through some rough stuff these past couple of years, you know. And if you guys watching this want to see more, if you're in a place in your life where you're happy to give a little to support smaller shows like this, I can promise, as much as everything I just said about the comments is true, and I've been making these videos because the comments are nice, I have kept making videos thanks to Patreon. And everything the comments mean, Patreon certainly has meant tenfold. If you like this style of Let's Play where, you know, there's a bit of research, a little bit more editing, you know, it's not just sitting down and blindly playing it. If you want to support this kind of style thing from me, that is the best way to show that support. Please, please, please feel free to check out the link at the very least in the description. Maybe this hasn't been clear, but the main thing I sort of do here on YouTube, and am beholden to because that's where my main audience is Guild Wars 2. And whenever I try to branch out and do projects on other things, find greener pastures or whatever, it's really difficult because such a small fraction of people actually come forwards and watch through. So that's why I cherish and appreciate anyone who's here listening to my voice right now. And I can tell you, if I got people on Patreon specifically saying, hey, I'm here for alternate LPs, that would just be the most liberating, best thing in the world for me, really. So, there you have it, guys. Seriously, that is the end as we see our Trojan footage. I do like seeing this montage as our towns have slowly become more and more and more impressive. Even this housing block around the palace here, I'm just really smiling looking back at. Absolutely happy with it. Now, there is one final thing that I'm going to leave you with. At the end of most of these episodes, I've edited in some extra audio, haven't I? We've gone through all of it. We've heard everything except an Easter egg. I've saved what you might consider the best for last till now. So hidden, not among the main sound effects where I've been getting most of these voices for you all, hidden amongst the music files, which are just MP3s, and you know, back in the day people could explore their CD-ROM and they could just pull them out. Among the soundtrack for the game was a hidden track which, so all the songs in this game, I think they have Greek names. Like, you just listen to Almoifi, I think is how we pronounce that I've just had in the background here. There's one called Eplixi, and that means surprise in Greek. And, well, it's kind of crazy. So one final bit of trivia and fun stuff for you guys. This was hidden in the Zeus install file. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.
This is the stuff of Homerian epics.
So magnificent. So sublime.
We're stronger! We're faster!
Head and shoulders above the rest.
We're stronger! We're faster!
It's academic.
This is the best.
And you look marvelous.
Ow! Ow! It's as sweet as the siren song. Ow! Ow!
Unrest in the city? Shut your mouth.
It's nothing that I can't handle.
Havoc is going to be wreaked all over this city.
Book of Plato.
Dude!
Genuine.
Yes.
Whoa!
This city truly is a utopia. I'm sure the Elysian fields pale in comparison.
Both form and a function. Genuine.
So at this point, at the end of the LP, I'd usually like to recommend another playlist to you guys, but I've never actually played another city builder, so I don't know. Feel free to check out my channel anyway, maybe there's something you'll like in there.